Blood is coming and many will be left in its wake. Hopefully you saw my YouTube short on Thursday, caught the sell-off on Friday. If you were a Discord member, you definitely did. There are very few things we missed on the market this week with an 88% win rate, shaping up to probably be one of my best years ever. I'm super grateful for everyone that's been a part of the community. A lot of you have been showing me a lot of love this week, and I really appreciate that. I'm so happy that you guys are doing well. If you are new, maybe like the video, subscribe to the channel, helps a bunch. Let's talk about the blood in the water. Shout out to Grandson. We've been playing this large cup and handle pattern for a minute now. Of course, now we're looking for some downside with the breakdown of this trend line right here. We can see a few candles try to get underneath it. We actually got a candle finally closing below it on the SPY. And I'd like to just point out how similar this looks to bull runs that we've seen back into 2021 and see how we can come down here and test this 50-day moving average, maybe even break below. I'm looking for something like that. I would like to see us come test this 50-day moving average. And if we actually look here at our Elliott waves, we can see good alignment here showing up on 500 for the S&P 500, just below at 496. If we short this on the way down, I'll probably be out at 500 on the break of 496. A solid break, not just a touch and go, solid break. Would maybe look for something like 478. Which could happen, which we've seen back in 2021. I just would like to remind you how bullish the underlying is for this market, and later in the year, still expecting new highs. Now, there is one thing I want to add that won't change the way we trade this, but I could be wrong on the Elliott waves here if this wave 1 and 2 is actually just part of this greater consolidation. This could be like a very large WXY. There's a few different readings for it that kind of make that make sense. The only thing that kind of throws me off is this wave 3 just looks like a wave 3. The way it's trended, the way that the TTM confirms it, the way that the RSI, the volume is confirming it, everything tells me probably a wave 3. But in the back of the mind, as we're coming maybe to the end of this 5th wave, we'll revisit that and we'll see how this wave development looks and compare it. Now, across the socials, I shared both my Elliott wave analysis and my sentiment of suddenly becoming bearish, and I got so many comments that were saying that this market's going to go up. What are you talking about? No way this looks bearish. We're going up, up, and up, and up, and up forever. Full-blown Buzz Lightyear mode to infinity and beyond, If you want to be a good trader, you cannot let yourself become dogmatic. That's what always happens at these peaks, at the bottom of the troughs. Everyone becomes completely married to their convictions and they think they will never change, especially when the market actually starts going down. We've seen this with Tesla right now. When the stock's down, everyone starts thinking super short term. They lose the ability to peek into the future, instead just focusing on one bullet point and missing all the variables around them. You need to be just as excited about the sell-offs as you are the rallies, because if you're good at this, you're going to make way more after a sell-off than you are into a rally. And I really try to drive this home with every single video we talk about on the weekly report, but I hope when you watch these, you're not thinking about profits, but you're thinking about the process. The profits are the outcome of the process that we go through, of the psychology that we work hard to maintain. I want you to have this top tier Warren Buffett psychology at all times. To not become dogmatic, do not get stuck with the crowd. Before you master the market, master yourself. Now, enough monologue. But now let's talk about Tesla. There's lots of people getting bearish on Tesla. Meet Kevin, just went bearish on Tesla. He's like the 2nd largest Tesla bull after Kathy Woods, and he is now shorting the stock. He didn't just sell the stock. He's now shorting it, which is crazy to be that he's actually done a full-blown reversal like that. He kind of is the definition of a retail trader. I'm not going to lie. Most of the profits, in my opinion, have already been made here. We'll see how it continues to play out, but we've been making money all the way down on Tesla. And you think there's a continuation here? Actually, on the shorter time frame, we can see that we have a double bottom here. And if this wants to break down with the other weakness in the market, this will create more short opportunities. And I think we're headed towards 150. I set up these Fibonacci levels, and I'm looking for like 151 now. Keeping in mind some also key targets here where this could bounce, like just short of that 0.61A. I wouldn't be like super shocked there. Remember, none of this is going to be like exact science, okay? We're trying to get close estimations to set up our target. So I'll be looking for that to maybe play out. We also saw that some people are actually calling for this, and I'm pretty sure this is where you're getting that target for. We've seen the 135 that's probably derived from the same Fibonacci extension to the downside. We even saw some people call for 175, I think Wells Fargo said. I think they're out of their minds. If the stock goes to if the stock goes to 75, I'd probably just sell everything else and just all in Tesla and just pull a Buffett. No, where he was like 50% Apple. I'd probably do something similar with Tesla if it gets down to 75, which is why I'm so positive that that will not happen. All right, it's getting late, so I want to run through a bunch of trade ideas. Let's try to do this quick and in one take. And remember, these are just the general ideas. You want help with the actual execution. You want to know what the actual trades look like. You want notifications when they happen in real time. All that's going to be in the Discord, all right? So first thing I want to talk about is Bitcoin. I did expect a new high before the halving. Did happen. Makes me think patterns are changing. I think it could show to be very sturdy into the downturn. I don't know if that's really going to be the case. I'm not sure if the ETF inflows have actually created the structural support and the floor that everyone's looking for. But it could, and that makes me not really want to come in short here. Mara is really interesting. This thing is still holding up on the monthly, but we can see a clear break of this parallel channel that's been developing in the stock. Makes me kind of cautious because I think people might be getting worried, or the company might even be getting worried about the hash rates of Bitcoin after the halving, and the diversification into cloud, I think, could actually be priced into the stock as an additional risk instead of an advantage for the company. I would keep an eye on it because this could end up being like a massive winner, especially at these prices. But it's kind of concerning, and it's just so simpler to go to the actual ETF and just play that if you want to be buying the dip on Bitcoin right here. So I am doing some buying a bit though, but I have a really close eye on Mara. You know, we've made a lot of money on this stock when we come in on it, and I don't have a position right now, but I am watching. Costco is one that has burned me in the past. I remember last year I went for a Costco short and it melted like 50 points in the after hours, hit my target perfectly. I thought, this is wonderful. And then it completely recovered before the market even opened. My options printed massive losses. But we've actually got a real sell-off here. On that sell-off, I was looking like to come in and be a buyer, but it recovered before I could even do that. And I don't have this in the long term. I want it. Now I'm looking at how bad this is. Coming right through these EMAs, I'm expecting this stock to go much lower, and I'm looking to come in short here. So I'm looking to, do I have like a double? Okay, yeah, sorry, that was probably hard to read, but I'm looking for about 700 for the stock. 692 is what you see there at the 6.618. I'll be looking to probably set that up this week. Roku's another one that's showing a lot of resistance here at the lows. We can also see this expanding wedge setting up on the weekly. If we go to the monthly, we can also see that we're actually firing to the upside still. It's we can maintain this upward trend. I still think this stock is good for some speculation. I am a bag holder here on Roku, and it's not been a fun ride. But I'll be looking for some short-term opportunities, especially with the news that we've been seeing a lot of insider buying at Roku. So insiders are still very confident into the sell-off. That's a really good sign. Boeing is a disaster, an absolute disaster. It's kind of hard to even put into words. We had a whistleblower come out, ends up dead a week later. Then there's tons of witness reports saying that he told people beforehand, like, if I end up dead from suicide, I'm not suicidal. I would never do that. Don't believe them if it comes out. And so now there's a group of lawyers getting together to come after Boeing. At the same time that's happening, we're finding out that some footage has been deleted at Boeing when it comes to like repairs that have been done, so they don't know if they were done appropriately. We had another emergency landing happen. I mean, just bad headline after bad headline. It seems like management is a disaster here. I'm just going to keep shorting this thing until it doesn't want to be shorted anymore, to be honest with you. So I'm going to be following these targets. Maybe look for a double bottom here around like 175, and look for this Fibonacci extension to continue to play out, and just continue. I mean, if it's going to be this bad, I'm just going to keep shorting it on the way down until Elon starts making planes or something. Someone steps in and kind of fixes it. You could argue that it can't get too much worse from here, and that it's overblown, and that's just a bunch of conspiracies. There are some members of the Discord that are buying up the stock with some convictions, saying that everyone's being too dramatic about everything. good luck. That's all I can say. That's a perspective. I'm going to follow the price action. On Apple, I think we've already talked about this in the last week report. I just wanted to say again, I'm still long here. I'm like slightly down on my long positions. Yeah, the weekly has melted down here, but we are seeing some improvement on the daily as well. So I think that we might just chop a bit before we get some upside. I'm still looking for an actual catalyst, which makes me even more confident, even though buying Apple every time it hits these lower moving averages is almost always just an easy, quick trade. I also think we could have AI news here that brings a bounce in. So I still think this is a really solid, just like easy, go for long duration. Their options are really cheap right now. We're still in a greater bull market. I just like it. And I almost forgot to create an outro. Whoops. Although, you know what? Outro doesn't even matter. Who cares? I can say whatever I want here. None of you watch this. I like to lick grandma feet. Ma.